In a far-off galaxy, there existed a small planet called Varenthia. This planet was known for its lush forests, sparkling rivers, and a variety of unusual creatures. The beings living on Varenthia were called the Varenth, and they were a proud and ancient race. They had lived for centuries, hidden from the rest of the universe, developing their own strange and powerful abilities. One day, a group of explorers from the nearby planet Astria stumbled upon Varenthia. These explorers were known as the Astrians, a curious race that had mastered space travel and technology. When the Astrians found the hidden planet, they knew they had discovered something extraordinary. They wanted to learn about the Varenth and their many secrets. The leader of the explorers was Captain Jara, a brave and intelligent woman who had always dreamed of discovering new worlds. Accompanying her were her companions, Tarek, a skilled engineer with a quick mind, Myra, a brilliant scientist who loved uncovering the mysteries of the universe, and Bix, an alien with bright blue skin, known for his expertise in diplomacy. As they landed their ship on Varenthia, the Astrians were shocked by the beauty surrounding them. Towering trees brushed the clouds, and colorful flowers bloomed in every corner. However, little did they know, their arrival on Varenthia would change the course of history forever. As the Astrians made their way deeper into the forest, they encountered their first Varenth. It was a majestic creature, standing taller than any human. It had shimmering green skin, large golden eyes, and hair that flowed like water. Cautiously, Captain Jara stepped forward. "Hello," she said with a friendly smile. "We come in peace. We are explorers and wish to learn about your world." The Varenth responded, introducing itself as Lyra. Lyra was curious about the Astrians, but also wary. The Varenth had long stayed isolated to protect their land from threats. However, sensing the peaceful intentions of the newcomers, Lyra decided to lead them to their village. The Astrians were amazed by the Varentha's way of life. The village was a bustling place with architecture intertwined with nature, and the Varenth welcomed them warmly. Jara and her team quickly formed friendships with Lyra and other villagers. However, not everything was perfect. Soon, whispers of danger reached their ears. A dark force had been rising in the galaxy, threatening all life. An alien race, known as the Caltrax, were gathering power. They were notorious for conquering planets, leaving destruction in their wake. The Caltrax were ruthless, and stories of their terror spread like wildfire. "We must prepare," Lyra said firmly. "The Caltrax will come for us eventually. We need your help, Astrians." Captain Jara looked around at her friends. They had formed a bond with the Varenth and understood the gravity of the situation. "We will stand together," she promised. "We have technology. Together, we can create a plan." Over the next few weeks, the Astrians and Varenth worked day and night. Tarek designed new weapons using the Varentha's natural resources and Astria's advanced technology. Myra studied Caltrax's weaknesses, while Bix used his diplomatic skills to rally other planets in the galaxy to join their cause. As the day of battle approached, fear and excitement filled the air. The villagers prepared themselves for the fight of their lives. They knew that if they did not unite, their homes would be lost forever. Finally, the day arrived. The sky darkened as the Caltrax fleet entered Varenthia's atmosphere. Massive ships blotted out the sun, and the ground trembled beneath the force of their arrival. The Varenth and Astrians stood side by side, determined not to back down. "Remember, we fight for our homes, for our way of life," Jara shouted, rallying her team. Lyra nodded, her golden eyes fierce with determination. "Together, we are stronger." The battle began. Caltrax warriors poured out of their ships, clad in dark armor and wielding powerful weapons. But the Varenth had secrets of their own. As the Caltrax advanced, the Varenth summoned the force of nature. Trees came alive, roots gripping the Caltrax warriors, while the sky rained down strange, electric storms that paralyzed their enemies. The Astrians fought valiantly, using their technology to fire energy blasts and create shields that protected them from harm. Tarek's inventions worked flawlessly, and the creativity of the Astrians amazed their Varenth allies. As the battle raged on, Jara and Lyra found themselves fighting back to back. They were a fearsome duo, cutting through Caltrax's ranks with skill and grace. Suddenly, they spotted the Caltrax leader towering above the chaos, barking orders to his troops. "We must take him down," Lyra shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. Jara nodded, and together they charged toward the leader. The Caltrax leader turned, his eyes widening in shock as the two approached. But before he could react, Jara launched a powerful energy blast, stunning him. Lyra swiftly moved in, using her strength to overpower him. With the Caltrax leader defeated, panic spread among the remaining soldiers. The Varenth and Astrians seized the moment, pushing forward for victory. The combined forces fought with determination, overcoming the odds stacked against them. Finally, after hours of fighting, the Caltrax retreated. They fled, leaving Varenthia and its defenders in peace. Cheers erupted throughout the battlefield as the Astrians and Varenth celebrated their hard-fought victory. Captain Jara and Lyra stood side by side, both breathing heavily from the battle. "We did it," Jara whispered, tears of joy in her eyes. "Yes," Lyra replied, her heart swelling with pride. "Together, we saved our worlds." The news of their victory spread throughout the galaxy, and the Astrians brought stories of courage and unity back home. The Varenth, once hidden, became known to many, celebrated for their bravery. In the end, being Deathworlders had not just saved their lives, it united different races and brought hope to all. The galaxy was a little brighter, and it became a symbol of what could happen when differences were put aside for a common cause. The Varenth and Astrians stood together, ready to face whatever came next. Characters. * Captain Eva Rostova, a seasoned human starship captain. * Zorgan, an alien scientist from a peaceful, technologically advanced species. * Krell, a hardened human marine, part of Eva's crew. * Glaric, a warlord from a violent, conquering alien race. When Deathworlders saved the galaxy, aliens stood in shock. The year is 2342. Humanity, having finally united under a single banner, had ventured out into the galaxy, only to find themselves a minor player in a vast cosmic game. The Galactic Concord, a loose alliance of dozens of alien species, maintained a fragile peace, but whispers of a growing threat echoed through the stars. Captain Eva Rostova of the starship Dauntless stared out at the swirling nebula outside the viewport. Beside her stood Zorgan, a scientist from the Eldorians, a species known for their wisdom and technological prowess. Zorgan was on a mission, a desperate plea for help. "Captain Rostova," Zorgan said, his voice a soft chime, "we have detected unusual energy signatures emanating from the Klargan sector. Our probes, they have not returned." Eva nodded grimly. The Klargans were a species known for their brutality and insatiable hunger for conquest. They had been a minor nuisance for centuries, but if they were developing a new weapon, it could upset the delicate balance of power in the galaxy. "We'll investigate," Eva said, her voice firm. "Krell," she barked into her comm, "assembles a boarding party. We might be walking into a war zone." Krell, a mountain of a man with cybernetic enhancements glinting beneath his skin, responded with a grunt of acknowledgement. He was a veteran of countless battles, a product of Earth's harsh environments and even harsher conflicts. He and his squad of Marines were the Dauntless, answer to any ground-based threat. As the Dauntless approached the Klargan sector, the energy readings spiked. The nebula shimmered with an unnatural light, and strange, distorted shapes flickered in the distance. "What are we looking at, Zorgan?" Eva asked, her eyes narrowed. I do not know," Zorgan stammered, his usually calm demeanor replaced with visible anxiety. "The energy readings are off the charts. It's as if they are bending the very fabric of space." Suddenly, a massive warship decloaked in front of them. It was Klargan, but unlike any ship they had ever seen. It was colossal, bristling with weapons, and its hull pulsed with the same unnatural energy they had detected earlier. "This is Galactic, warlord of the Klargan Empire." A guttural voice boomed across their comms. "You have trespassed into our territory. Prepare to be annihilated." Eva's jaw tightened. This is Captain Rostova of the Dauntless. We are here to investigate the energy signatures in this sector. Galactic laughed, a harsh, grating sound. Investigation is over. Now you will witness the dawn of the Klargan supremacy. Prepare to face our Dimension Ripper. Before Eva could react, the Klargan warship unleashed a beam of pure energy. It tore through space, creating a visible rift in reality. The Dauntless shuddered violently as the fabric of space-time around them warped and twisted. Shields failing, a voice yelled from the bridge. We can't withstand another hit like that. Eva knew they were outmatched. The Dimension Ripper was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It was a weapon that could shatter planets, tear apart fleets, and unravel the very structure of the galaxy. Evasive maneuvers. Eva shouted, Zorgan, can you find a way to disrupt that weapon? Zorgan frantically worked at his console, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. I need more time, he said, his voice strained. The energy signatures are too complex. But I believe the weapon is powered by a localized distortion of space-time. If we could create a counter-distortion. Krell, Eva said, turning to the Marine, I need you to lead a boarding party onto that ship. Disable that weapon, or the galaxy is doomed. Krell grinned, a savage glint in his eyes. You got it, Captain. Time to show these aliens what humans are made of. Krell and his squad of Marines launched in a heavily armed shuttle, weaving through the chaotic battlefield. They breached the Klargan warship, their weapons blazing. The Klargan warriors were fierce, but they were no match for the brutal efficiency of the human Marines. Krell fought his way through the ship, his armor dented and scarred, his weapons spitting fire. He reached the chamber where the Dimension Ripper was housed, a massive, pulsating device that hummed with unimaginable power. Guarding the weapon was Galactic himself, a towering figure with razor-sharp claws and eyes that burned with hatred. You dare trespass in my domain, human? Galactic roared. You will die. Krell spat on the ground. I've faced worse back on Earth, you overgrown lizard. This ends here. The two titans clashed. Krell, augmented with cybernetics and fueled by adrenaline, fought with a ferocity that surprised even Galactic. He dodged the warlord's attacks, his own blows landing with bone-shattering force. Meanwhile, Zorgan had finally cracked the code. Captain, he said, his voice filled with urgency, I have found a way to disrupt the Dimension Ripper. But it requires precise coordination. We need to create a localized space-time distortion within a specific frequency. Eva relayed the information to Krell, who was now locked in a desperate struggle with Galactic. Krell, you need to overload the weapon's core, Eva instructed. Zorgan will give you the frequency. Can you do it? Krell, bruised and bleeding, grinned. Just point me in the right direction, Captain. With Zorgan's guidance, Krell managed to reach the Dimension Ripper's core. He ripped open the access panel and began inputting the frequency. The weapon shuddered violently, its energy output fluctuating wildly. Now, Captain, Zorgan yelled. Activate the counter-distortion. Eva gave the order, and the Dauntless unleashed a beam of focused energy at the Klargan warship. The two distortions collided, creating a ripple effect that disrupted the Dimension Ripper's power source. The weapon sputtered and died. The rift in space closed, and the unnatural energy dissipated. The Klargan warship was left crippled and powerless. Krell stood over the defeated Galactic, his weapon trained on the warlord's head. It's over, he said, his voice hoarse. Your reign of terror is finished. The Klargan forces, seeing their leader defeated and their weapon destroyed, surrendered. The Dauntless and its crew had saved the galaxy from a terrifying threat. Back on the bridge of the Dauntless, Eva Rostova watched as the Klargan warship was towed away. She turned to Zorgan, a weary smile on her face. We did it, she said. We actually did it. Zorgan nodded, his eyes filled with awe. I still cannot believe it, he said. A species from a death world, you possess a resilience, a tenacity that is unmatched in the galaxy. Eva looked at Zorgan, a hint of pride in her voice. We may be from a death world, she said, but we are also survivors. We never give up, no matter the odds. The news of the humans' victory spread quickly throughout the Galactic Concord. Species that had once dismissed humanity as primitive and insignificant now looked at them with newfound respect. The Deathworlders had saved the galaxy, and the aliens stood in shock, realizing the true potential of the species they had underestimated for so long.